Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumed Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. So today I want to talk a little bit about consciousness. Consciousness is a huge buzzword in the spiritual and scientific community, and it's what everybody seems to be obsessed with nowadays, okay? What exactly is consciousness? That's the real question, right? Some people might say that it is all of our senses. However, when we get to senses, we also might start going into the rabbit hole of the sixth sense and what that means, right? So it's right now there's no concrete definition, but all we know is without consciousness we have no way of proving we or anyone else exists. When we start to understand the brain, we understand that when we feel stressed out, when we feel threatened, when we feel fight or flight, it's basically a leftover reptilian reaction, right? It's our animal nature that comes out and is stressed out, essentially. And we also have this polarity within ourselves, this law of gender, of estrogen and testosterone, yin and yang, working through everybody, right? Even people who are transgender, they have some level of these chemicals in their bodies. So it's like really starting to understand that. And also understanding in regards to flow state things like heart rate variability, right? A lot of people nowadays they have an Apple Watch or a certain app on their phone where they can actually monitor their heart rate. This video is going to be about how do we overcome this reptilian algorithm of being stressed out, being in that fear mode, in that stressful state. Well, one way is to monitor our heart rate and breathe slower. There's a Butecho breathing technique, which just simply states if we breathe slower, in a minute, we'll just breathe maybe 7 times really deeply. It will help us to overcome this reptilian algorithm, this response, okay? When we want to get much more into the green light of overcoming this response, we want to breathe from our bellies, deeper from our bellies. And even when we're meditating, we are getting much more into this alpha wave. And of course, deeper meditation would be theta. However, we want to get into the alpha waves. Now, Buddhists call this idea hara meditation. So basically, try this out, okay? So expand your stomach out as you breathe in. Breathe out and empty it. Put both hands on your stomach. Try it again, okay? Expand your stomach as you breathe in. Breathe out and empty it. Okay? I know I did it with my mouth, but you can also do this simply with breathing in and out through your nostrils, which actually is a better way to do it in this case, okay? So, expand. So another thing is to really understand the power of grounding and the root. And if we're looking at the yogic context, there's something called the Muladhara, which means root support, okay? Mula, which is the earth, and Dhara, which is the support. Muladhara is essentially the root chakra, as a lot of people might call it. And, basically, there's a very quick technique that you can use to actually overcome fear, right? This is a guaranteed way of overcoming fear. And just try this out. It's very powerful. Basically, you know your anus area of your spine, right? You gotta basically suck it in twice, right? Just inside and hold that almost like you've lifted up that energy and you're keeping almost at the bottom of your nose in a sense. You've lifted all of that up and you're just holding it. And then release out. Twice. Twice breath in, twice breath out, okay? Try it again. Hold. And out. So as you're inhaling twice, you're also clenching the anus muscles, right? The PC muscles. Now, this is activating that root chakra. This is activating the Muladhara, okay? It's a great thing to do if you are suffering from fear or panic, okay? So let's try it one more time. Clench. Hold. Out with 2. Great. Now this is called Ashwini Mudra, okay, in the yogic term. And this hara, as I was talking about, the expanding of the stomach, right? The hara, the energy center. It's the energy field, the Chinese believe that there's like a white energy that expands like a ball of light, almost like an eggshell around us, right? It's called qi or ki in qigong, right? This energy, this ki, you can either kill with it or you can heal with it. So if you're a healer, you would use it through Reiki. But if you're a fighter, you would use it as through Gung Fu. It's how you use that energy that is powerful. But it is powerful energy. It is potency. If you were to tap into the flow state, or basically hack your level of consciousness in a sense, you want to tap into this state called Turiya. Okay, Turiya is almost the fourth state of there's dreaming, there's waking, there's dreamless sleep, right? But then there's also Turiya, which is kind of like equivalent to the flow state, but it's like a waking dream state, okay? It's a state of consciousness where you feel much more in that alpha theta bridge. So you can do this by just watching an object until it blurs. Just let it blur, right? You can do this with staring at like an image of a candle. Actually, I want you guys to try this out, okay? I'm going to go to a video of a candle right now, and I want you to just specifically stare at that candle flame until your consciousness starts to blur. Just watch and gaze until it blurs, okay? And as you do this, you can also focus on the tip of your nose or right here, your ajna, okay? 30 seconds on, and again, if you start to feel sleepy, it's almost like toggling it, right? So you want to go from focused, relaxation, focus, relaxation. And eventually you'll just stay in that pure focused, it's like that relaxed wakefulness, okay? So if you're finding it difficult and you're finding it yourself more relaxed, you want to turn your focus muscles on. If you find yourself too focused and it's becoming too intense, you want to turn your relaxation muscles on. That's how you maintain this turiya, or this flow state. Even for a millisecond, your thoughts will stop. So try this out, okay? I'm moving to the video now. Let's try it for like 30 seconds. Let's go. Awesome. Awesome. So I want you guys to comment how that felt, what that was like for you. It's a very interesting activity. We can get wrapped up of what the flame means and use our logical mind, but this is really a process of letting go, and it takes practice to get here. But even for a millisecond, right? Did you feel that your thoughts suddenly switched off? Okay, if it did, that's very powerful, and I want you to make a note of that. Okay, this is what the flow state does. It gets you to shut off that monkey mind, that inner critic. Even if it's for a few seconds, you can have a taste of what that's like. Now, advanced meditators or people who can actually, stay in deep delta waves even sometimes, right? That's a different practice. Having those gamma spikes as well, those downloads that are coming in, that's a whole different practice. We have to actually train the brain. That's why it's called brainwave entrainment if you've used binaural beats and things like that, right? We can use it in that way, but there's also these yogic and breathing techniques and meditative techniques that you can use to actually hack your consciousness and overcome that reptilian response, okay? So, mantras, if you've ever practiced transcendental meditation, it takes you to an alpha brainwave state very quickly. So if you're just going Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, if you're saying that like 50 or 100 times, after a while you're going to feel that relaxed wakefulness. Mainly how you get there is through rhythm. Okay, if you maintain a certain rhythm or a certain pattern, you're going to get into alpha waves because it's going to take you into a trance-like state. Not a very deep trance, that would be theta, but a very light trance where you feel in it. You're in the vortex, you're in the wave. You're the wave, but at the same time you're still the ocean. I also wanted to remind you guys of tapping into the different neurochemicals that are released during the flow state, okay? Now, of course, we know Ananda happiness. Anandamide was created through like cannabis releases anandamide. Then we have serotonin, okay, certain drugs, SSRIs. Serotonin makes things holistic and meaningful in life. It's created in the stomach, so you feel like you've done something worthwhile and really good for yourself, right? And one of the first principles of Reiki is gratitude, right? So when I'm grateful, I can take it further towards contribution to others. If I'm not grateful, I can't take any of that further, and I won't find meaning or this kind of sense of finding something worthwhile in my life, right? So gratitude really helps you to rewire the mind over time, and it's this beneficial thing that really produces more serotonin. Serotonin is continuously being released for people who are givers or contributors or volunteers, right? Because this is the best one, right? Serotonin is just like a great happiness chemical, okay? Then we have oxytocin, which is the love and the trust hormone, released from the mammary glands, through orgasm. If you have a baby in your hand and you make eye contact with the baby, like, physical touch with someone else, like shaking their hand or, giving them a hug in that sense. And, when you have this oxytocin, it's very, very difficult to get angry. So if someone's really, really angry, and you give them a hug, oftentimes they'll melt. They'll surrender to that hug. They need that, in a sense. They need to feel the love to really carry the anger through. See, anger is a protective mechanism at times as well. It's like we're afraid to put up boundaries, and so it becomes rage. So when you have oxytocin being released, you trust yourself, and so you're letting the anger go where it needs to go. You're not suppressing or storing it. The last two is dopamine, of course, the brain reward chemical. Celebrate, right? Micro celebrations. You did 2 push-ups that day, micro celebration. Okay, you meditated that day, micro celebration. These micro celebrations are going to create much more of that dopamine, that motivation feeling. Okay, and finally we have endorphins. Endorphins are like almost the brain creating your own morphine or painkiller in a sense. So it reframes pain not as suffering, but pain as growth. Basically, if you've ever seen these people like in the park do laughter yoga, or you notice how athletes are never really that depressed, right? So all of these chemicals can really help you to become happy, and you can hack your consciousness using these neurochemicals. Okay, try these techniques out. Try to work with a psychologist or a counselor or a mental health practitioner or a coach, someone who can hold space for you as you discover these different elements and these different things. Okay, so to be able to hack your consciousness, we have to understand how to use our brain's chemistry. This is all a game of hormones and neurochemicals. Okay, so we have to have it work for us and not against us in a way. Okay, so I hope you found value in this video. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary. I'll see you guys next time.